Do I feel like a hypocrite? What do I mean? I have vowed not to work as a cook or a chef. Not ever again, but my intention was never to do it again as a means of earning an income. But yet here I am, a small cafe, a couple years after my intense spiritual awakening journey, and I'm back at it. Is there a lesson here? Am I a hypocrite? Because now I'm cooking eggs and I'm a vegan, or quote unquote vegan. I don't know. What do you think? Hello, welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. And today, here's where we are. Hypocrisy in your spiritual journey. And how to deal with it. Or how not to deal with it. It all depends on you, right? And from my intro, you can gather that I'm back at cooking to a certain extent, and I'm not really. When I think of cooking, it's doing everything from scratch, and right now here we don't have that capacity, So I'm using some pre-packaged stuff, and I'm not creating anything. I'm putting stuff together and making small creations like that, but I'm not butchering an animal, right? Whatever's here is already pre-cooked, and I'm not cooking it at all. So, no, to me, I'm not a hypocrite for putting together something that somebody else does enjoy, right? I never labeled myself a vegan. That is what, if I describe what I eat and what I don't eat, that's a general consensus, right? But that's somebody else's label. It's certainly not mine. It's just what I'm choosing not to eat. And I'm not doing it because to shame anybody else who doesn't, right? It's my choice. I'm choosing not to eat meat, right? But there's others in the world that do, right? Going back as far as you can go back in time to see that people ate animal, right? But take some of the Native Americans and their rituals with consuming the entire animal, right? Using the whole thing and being grateful to that animal, for the sacrifice it made for them, right? That's a beautiful ritual. Although I wouldn't partake in it myself. In my past I may have, but I certainly, I'm not judging them for it, because if you are, then you're the hypocrite. And again, these are all labels, these are all words, right? They don't mean anything, but it's such a thing. You're a hypocrite because you're going against your beliefs. You don't know what my beliefs are. If you're trying to judge me based on what you think a vegan is, I don't consent to it, and I don't do it to anyone else. What we have to realize is that we are on our own journey. We have to do what resonates for us. And there's other people that resonate with other different things, and that's fine. Not every spiritual person is a vegan or a vegetarian for that matter, and that doesn't matter to me. That's their individual choice. I'm not going to be like the PETA people and throw, pig's blood at you or whatever that is. That's insane to me. That's hypocrisy. But that's also the duality, right? That's the hate. That's the separation that's been, taught to us. It's these learned behaviors that if somebody does something differently than you, then they're doing it wrong. Or if somebody says, well, I quit smoking, and they're smoking, 5 days later, it doesn't make them a hypocrite. It makes them somebody who needs to work a little harder and have a little bit more willpower, right? So in those instances, it's not to judge them and say you're hypocritical because you did something you said you'd never do again. It's like, no. Either you ask, say, what made you change your mind, and allow that person to give you their truth, or you can just say, oh, well, that, to each his own, right? But saying that somebody's a hypocrite, that's a powerfully low vibrational word. It carries a lot of heavy energy and pulling energy, right? Because they're sucking that energy out of you. They're making you feel guilty for something you chose to do or not to do. It's your choice. It's nobody else's choice. So, here it is in a nutshell. Hypocrisy is a three-dimensional term, a three-dimensional vibration that will keep you in lack. And it's not about somebody being hypocritical to you, it's about whether you are being hypocritical of them. It's how you're judging yourself. And if you are judging yourself, it's time to, again, go deeper, more than you have been on your spiritual path, right? To figure out what it is that you're judging yourself about in that circumstance, right? Or why that word hypocrisy even came into your, awareness in that particular instance, right? Where it caused you to judge somebody else for their action or inaction, right? But that's what we are tasked with on our spiritual journey now, right? Recognizing that these things are low vibrational. Words carry frequency, right? Because somebody else put the intention for that word to be a low vibrational word. And if you're not consciously shifting that energy, then you're embracing it. You're allowing the energy to be there for you, right? And to bring you down out of your higher dimensional cloud, so to speak. So to put it in my, from my perspective, hypocrisy is duality, and hypocrisy is low vibrational. So if you continue to do it, then you're choosing, right, to stay in lower frequency. And at some point on your spiritual path, if you don't release that, you can't elevate. Or you can, it's going to take you a long time, right? It's part of your evolution to start really paying attention, right? The universal currency, attention, paying attention to how those words are coming from you, because they can mean one thing, but you can intend to put it out there with a different frequency, with a happy frequency. I don't know if you can do that with the word hypocrisy, because to judge it a little bit, it's an ugly word, right? When you think about it. But I take that judgment back. Somebody created that word, and it's been used, and it's constantly used as a weapon, right, to keep people in shame and lack, being judged, lack of confidence, right? It gives people low self-esteem, right? Because it says, hey, I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. That makes me a bad person. No. It means you just need to work a little harder, or to pay attention, right? To be in awareness. Be aware when you've intended to do something and you're not going to make it, right? And you need to figure out why you stopped, right? Why is somebody seeing that as hypocritical now? What choice did you make? And if you're good with that choice, you're good with that choice. However, if it's a choice that you've made in your past and it's going to keep you in that cycle, then you need to stop and be aware that you've done this before, and here's your opportunity to shift that. Not because somebody else called you out on it, and not because you're calling yourself out on it. This is your soul presenting an opportunity for you to shift this for once and for all. But it takes work. Constant work. Right? Awareness, work. Awareness is work. Being aware that you are being hypocritical or judging somebody else. It takes a lot of work. Because something that's just something innate, something that just pops in all the time. It's always been there because it's always been what you've been around, what other people do, right? So how do you stop being hypocritical of yourself and others? You become aware that you are. And again, not somebody else's definition of that, but your own definition of it. If you're not comfortable doing that or receiving that, what do you have to change within yourself so that you can stop inviting it in and stop letting it take over or lower your frequency, right? It takes work, right? There's hypocrisy in spirituality too, right? Just because you're on your spiritual path or somebody else is on their spiritual path doesn't mean that they're not still learning, right? And having to experience these things, right? These are all experiences. So if you go on a YouTube channel or you pay for a course with somebody and later on down the road you see the same person doing something else that they said they would never do, when you get the feeling to call them out on it or to get angry about it, stop yourself. Take a step back, right? That's their experience that they're having. Why are you choosing to have the experience of calling them out or, judging them for what they're doing now? That's when you stop yourself. And you say, if you still feel that way, like you have to call them out for it, then be your authentic self and write them a note, right? Chances are they're giving you a link to give them feedback. Give them feedback, right? Because if you feel that strongly about it and you don't give them feedback for them to help themselves get better or become aware of it, then you're being the hypocrite, right? So it's challenging. There's no other way to say it. Your spiritual growth and your evolution, it's a challenge, right? Because you have to deprogram all the things that you were taught and all the learned behaviors that you're still doing. And the way that you can help somebody else is do it for yourself first, and then just make somebody else aware of it in a non-hypocritical, judgmental way in the future. So, and it's hard, but you can do it. You just have to pay attention, be aware of it. Everything is in the moment, right? Shift it in the moment. And if you don't catch it the first time, be aware that you didn't catch it the first time, right? And the more you bring it to your awareness, the more you're going to be looking for it. And that's how you change everything. That's how you shift everything, is through awareness. Being aware that you are doing it, or you are not practicing what you're teaching, right? So take the harshness out of that word, hypocrite. Whether you're using it on yourself, whether somebody's using it against you, on you, or whether you're doing it to somebody else. If your intention is not to do it out of judgment, which is hard with that word, there is a way to, call them out without having a negative tonation or a judgment to it. You'll figure that out, right? Because it's got to feel good to you. So if you do it and you felt good about it, and that person learned something from it, that's a good thing, right? So, again, not beating yourself up on this journey. Very important that you give yourself compassion and kindness, right? Every time that you think you messed up or that you think you're being hypocritical, just say, no, okay, I have to do better for myself at catching myself and paying attention. And again, you're just shifting your mindset every single time you do that. So that's my few minutes on the word hypocrisy and how it's used and how it's used against us. Just remember that you're a powerful, powerful being, and whatever you believe about yourself and your authentic truth, and you live it, that's what you project and that's what you receive back. So if you don't want to be labeled a hypocrite, don't be a hypocrite, right? Change what you do, change your energy, change your frequency, and those experiences go away. They fall away, and the people that are bringing them to you, or that you perceive are bringing them to you, fall away, and your actions, you know, that lead you to those lower vibrations, those fall away too. And when that happens, you don't even have to notice it, but somewhere down the road you're going to say, wow, I don't do that anymore. That's amazing, right? When you get to that point, that's your pat on the back. That's your own confirmation that you've done it. You've done the work. And always celebrate your little victories. So important, right? So important. And that's hypocritical too, right? If you're constantly praising somebody else or giving somebody else their accolades and high fives and look what you did, right? If you're not doing it to yourself, you're being a hypocrite to yourself. It's that balance. It's giving and receiving. And it's not waiting on somebody else to give it to you, right? You can give it to yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back often for the smallest of victories, right? In addition to doing it for others. And you're just going to see that beautiful new cycle, right? That's how you shift out of cycles. You create a new one. So create a new cycle for yourself, right? Let the ugly word hypocrisy go and don't allow it, right? Energetically say, I do not consent to being called a hypocrite. And so it is. It's that simple. Your intention's everything. Your energy's everything. Your thoughts are everything. They all create. So create only good, and only good will come. You can do it. You're worth it. You're worthy. Have an amazing day. Still being really hard on yourself about the choices you're making and the judgments you're putting on yourself or judging other people, and you're really looking to really get a hold of that, become more aware of it, but you're struggling. I can help you. I am a spiritual transformation coach. Here is a link to my website. Give me a shout. You know, let's do a free 30-minute decompression session so you can I can help you become aware of some of those things that are, you know, are keeping you back, and help you put a plan together to get yourself out of them. So, it'd be my honor to do so. And if you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up, real high thumbs up. Share it, leave a comment. I'd love to know where you are in your spiritual journey, and subscribe to my channel. Also, here's a link to my meetup group. I do it live on online via Zoom, and I do some in-person stuff too. So if you're in the Northern Virginia area, check it out. You know, I do a lot of sharing things on there where we can help teach each other. So I'd love for you to come on and be a part of the family and share your stories and inspire others. Right? That's what we're here for. So thank you for spending a few minutes with me. Have a blessed day.